All right. Welcome back, guys. We have Felix today with a special. We have a special guest today, Monsieur Raphaël.
Bonjour tout le monde.
What a cute baby. Giving your wife a break today.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect.
Why not? And he sleeps well in my arms, so he's just gonna fall asleep.
He can't hold up his head yet, I think, huh?
No, that's why I have to hold him.
At what age can they hold up
about
their
a
own head?
month and a half? He will be good. He's starting now. You know, he's starting, but you still need to hold his head because he's going like this.
Well, it's a perfect example of how that even with your hands full, you're still doing the podcast. You're still taking care of your stuff.
Of course, and I love that the fact of that we're going to be talking about the middle class today. Nice guess. I just feel like we're all middle class until we choose to be something more. And right now, I feel like the middle class. Well, the middle class is being like it's in danger. It doesn't exist anymore. You know, it's either poor or rich more than ever. You know,
because like back then in our parents and our grandparents' days, they were able to just work a regular job and feed their family, buy a house, pay for the car, pay education. This was possible not too long ago. Middle class was something to aim for.
It was a goal.
Not like
it was a goal. It was a nice
changed.
goal to aim for, and it changed so much.
Yeah, like the cost of living went up, and just like it's tough right now, dude. How are you supposed to like before it was just with one income, you were able to raise a family, the wife was able to stay home or the husband was able to stay home and they were able to take care of the kids, they were able to do all that stuff. But now I feel like it's impossible. It's impossible. It's so hard now.
Mm-hmm. I have a friend who started that way, and mom was staying home, and he was working hard, and she had at one point to go work at the hospital, do a little course, and work at the hospital. And I remember I remember him talking to me and telling me like how he felt like a failure because of that. I was like, you're not a failure. Like it is what it is. It's that we're in that time now. Mommy, still gotta go to work, and like you guys are gonna have to share some stuff. But I mean, you can't shame yourself. You need to like assess what's real right now. Like that was me, you know. When we had our first kid, my daughter, I was really thinking about it. I was like, hey man, like, what is it gonna be? Because housing is costing more than ever, and I still want my kid to have at least the same thing that I had, which is, I don't know for you. I had a good education. I had good friends, a good environment. Like these cost. Good neighborhoods cost you more than ever, bro. Like
my grandfather came from Italy a long time ago. He bought a triplex for like 17 raspberries. Now that building is worth
probably 1.7 million, bro. That's that.
And that could house 3 people. It could house 3 families.
Three families.
How are you supposed to do that now? Okay, I get it. 17K back then, because I think he paid it was like 17K. Back then, 17K was worth a lot more than today, but still not even close to like it. Like the salary rose not in proportion at all to the cost of living. So what do we do now? Like, how are we supposed to navigate this? How do we survive this? Like, how does just a regular person get through this now? Like, is it just the both couples, like the both partners have to work? Both partners have to provide now?
I think we both need to make more money. In our household, like she left her job. I didn't have a job, obviously, when I met her because I already successful in business, so I didn't need a job. I didn't even need really like a salary at that time because I was working like commission. I had commission, I had gifts, I had like all kinds of stuff. We were when I worked in full time in stratégie conseil before the pandemic. I was doing well. We got married, and she was work at she kept her job, but she didn't need to, just because. But then the pandemic hit. She had a government paid job, so she was working in schools, right? When the
Hmm.
pandemic hit, the schools closed, but they kept people's salary up. Like schools kept paying their employees, even though for at least like almost a full year, not a full year, but like for a good amount of time, she got paid. I think for the whole beginning from March all the way like to the summer, like she got paid her full salary. She was the main salary because when when
Hey, I'm
when pandemic hit, banks closed their credit departments. So strategy conseil whole purpose was just not existent. Nobody needed financing. People needed the government money. I don't know if you remember, George,
of
but there
course.
was no financing possible available in banks during the pandemic. So my job got canceled. I got canceled.
Keep up the consistency. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. Appreciate you noticing
Thanks.
and and coming in.
No choice. Um, but
This guy, look at this guy. He's holding his baby. No excuse, bro. No
no
excuse,
excuse, my
man.
man.
I
No
don't want to hear
excuse.
excuses of other people saying, "Hey, I can't do it. What can't you take care of?" I don't want to hear it. I hate hearing excuses.
Bro. I'm still there, helping mommy out, giving mommy a break a little bit. And he's happy. He's looking at me. He's like, "Hey, what is?" Look at his face. Where he's like, he's having a blast, bro. He's having fun. Oh my god, mindset of winners. Oh yeah, let's go, bro.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, man.
Let me give you some fireworks over here.
Yeah,
You got the 1.5 thumbs up, my friends. Yeah.
yeah. uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
bro, the pandemic brought this fact to me that I was not invincible. Like my business strategy conseil, even though I was literally flying before that. I got myself a nice wedding, bro. Like very nice wedding.
I was flying. I
165
was
people.
I was flying too before the pandemic. It was times
Bro,
life was good.
life was good before the pandemic, my friend, and it just made me realize that I was not the Teflon Don. I was not fully bulletproof. My model that I thought that I thought was bulletproof was really not. I was not that flexible with my business. My model was not that um, that much sealed. Like I don't know if you could like understand. Like things could take me down, and it really like got to me to a point. Like I wanted to have kids, and then we had a kid that not long after. Um, but it got to me that to provide for these kids for the long run, I needed a more bulletproof model. I needed something else. Uh, so that's why we start, bro. Like the only thing that was open during the pandemic was these companies that were cleaning and you know
Yeah, the essential,
disinfecting and
the essential
essentials.
company. You remember when you could have you in Walmart there was tape around certain items, non-essential.
Yeah.
Do you remember those days?
Yes.
I
Oh,
can't
that was
believe the
dumb, bro.
difference
I
it
couldn't
made,
believe
bro.
it, bro. That
That's
was so
crazy.
dumb. That was so dumb. But anyways, bro,
Anyways,
like in that
we
time,
can't control certain things,
that 10x
but
rule, I've read the 10x rule, and that's what we're reading. Like that's the Wednesday book. That's the chapter of today. Chapter is about the middle class, and that made me realize that I couldn't stay in the middle class. It's a passage. You you pass there, but you need to go through it. Like you need to go up in the echelons of life. Can't stay in the middle class for too long. Can't just put it as a end goal.
But if you think about it, being middle class today is a flex. Being like, he says that because the book was written how many years ago? Because he spoke obviously about your money loses purchasing power, and that book was written before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Purchasing power right after the pandemic was the biggest loss of our money, right? In that span of 5 years, I think was the biggest loss or the biggest inflation.
It was written right after the
Since like
2008.
the Great Depression or whatever it was.
No, the book was
like,
written right after the 2008 crash that we had. So in 2008 there was a big crash in the stock market. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, of course, the housing crash.
Housing crash in 08, 09. And this book was written right after, so it's actually also talking about a big crash that people experienced. He's talking about it in this chapter. So there will be other crashes. What will be the next crash? How could you can't predict the future. It's impossible. The only thing you could do is prepare for the future, and don't have the same eggs, like all eggs in the same basket. Just mix your investments. Just like, if it's not buying a new business, start a new business, have another project. This podcast is another project that
Middle classes for followers. Amit, I'm curious, what's your favorite book? Which book do you recommend for self-development and business? I'm curious. Or which books are you reading right now?
Like I said, middle class could be for, like, if you want to stick in the middle class, if your end goal was to have $55,000 a year, your end goal is you have the wrong target, my friend.
But admit like, it's crazy to me because this book was written in 2008 and he's talking about making 50 grand in 2008.
Yes, it's the same thing.
150 grand of today, or so. Like, I don't know the exact math, but to think about it, that was amazing money back then. You could have actually lived a crazy life. But you see, like, the principles that he's saying, you can't aim for that, because look, if you would have aimed for,
it's nothing.
55K is nothing now. Exactly, it's not. But the principles that he says, 10x, whatever you think you need, for that reason. Look, just a few short years ago, 50K was amazing, was considered a crazy salary. You could have done a lot with that. You could have bought a house, car, the whole shebang. Now you can't really do much with that anymore. You can't buy a house now, especially here in Canada. You can't buy a house for 50K a year.
If you're the only salary, it's hard.
So what is the new middle class now, guys in the chat? How much do you need to be in the middle class today? And what is the middle class? Can we say the middle class is just like having a house, family, having the bare necessities? How do you guys define middle class today, and how much do you need to be there? In dating world, girls want guys earn at least 100K a year. Yeah, I think that's even not enough today.
Yeah, it's true. I haven't dated. I haven't been in the dating games for like years. It's been 8 years now. I was about to talk and say something, but like, I'm just gonna shut it up. I don't know, to be honest. Like, it's been so. I've been building a family.
You have a good setup with your wife, that your wife is partners with you. The goal is to get yourself a wife or a partner that works with you, that doesn't mind that you don't have it now, but likes the fact that you have a vision. You guys have a vision together. That's super cool,
bro. Like
the whole landscape changed. Like, even the dating landscape changed. Like, everything changed in recent years. Everything changed.
I think I don't know why it's trying to punch the it's trying to punch the mic. Middle class is in the head, bro. That's my thought. If you really want to know, middle class in your head. If you're 75K living in a shack somewhere, 75K a year, making like your own money, you're a freelancer, you sell stuff on Etsy, you know, but you're free. You're rich.
You're
You
free.
don't you don't like you don't need
But you
you
see, the
don't owe
freedom gives
anyone.
you time. The freedom, like it.
No,
What are
but
you
let
doing
me
with your
finish.
freedom?
Let me finish. Let me finish. Like this guy who's living in his van making 75K on Etsy is richer than you
He's
and me,
rich.
my friend, because he's
Yes, of
not
course.
owing anyone anything. And he's gonna
Yeah,
pile it
and he's going.
up
Think about this. He's living kind of off grid. He has solar panels on his van.
like,
He's living by the water with beautiful views, and whenever he needs to eat, he just goes fishing.
right. So what's middle
Think about
class?
it.
Like this guy ain't middle class. This guy is something different. He's something else. And I'm thinking also about my brother, my brothers, and you. I'm talking almost also about you because you're also someone who's living like a very different lifestyle. You're out, like
But I make it work.
you're in
But I
Portugal.
make it work. Yeah.
You buy apartments, yeah, but like it's not defined by like I can't define middle class by the amount of money like that
No, but it's
we are
kind of
making.
like what you're describing is that you could still not be living in the matrix, but what you're saying is you don't have to be filthy rich, even in today's world with the prices being as high as they are. You could still be free from the matrix if you find a way. Whether it's being living in a van, but
Like Amit says it
like
better than I said. Like I think Amit
you
got
have to
it.
be okay. Like
People who reduce their expenses are often in a better position. That's actually what I meant. That's actually what I meant.
okay, but we spoke about this many times. I agree with Amit. But if you just have one Netflix subscription and a Spotify subscription, that's like $22 a month.
Mhm.
Where are you going with that? If you even if you cancel those, okay, you cancel Disney Plus, $30 a month.
I think that's those are not like if you cancel your rent.
Okay, okay, we're talking now.
We're talking now. If you cancel electricity, like your utilities, like a bunch of utilities, if you start thinking about like all this,
So it comes down to managing your expectation
exactly.
because you have to be you have to be okay with not having that big house. You have to be okay with not having that 100-floor apartment. You have to be okay with not having all those amenities, swimming pool, gym, and all that stuff. I'm not saying gym's not important, but like you have to manage your expectations. You could still like leave the matrix. Like I did, I left the matrix. I'm not making, I'm not super rich, but I live in freedom. I live in freedom. I could be where I want when I want.
So are
I
you middle
found a way.
class? Are you middle class?
It depends who's asking. Depends who's asking.
Bro, this is such a subject, bro. Like nobody wants to like be in that class. Let's be real. No, I'm not middle class.
To them they're rich because they
So
have
what are
total
you,
freedom.
consultant
They have
class?
total
Like
freedom. You have total freedom. You could be in any country you want.
bro, like it's all in your head.
It's all about perspective.
It's all about perspective. It's all about
But
context.
okay, but today, what do we use to measure perspective? What other people have. We want. I read in that monk book that I'm reading. We want what other people like. What did
Why?
he say in that book? It was so
He said
profound
he
what he
said he
said.
said once
Our
you get to 1
ideologies
million,
are based on what we think,
yes.
what other people think of us. What we think, what other people think of us.
Yes.
That's what how we're kind of formulating our life.
But like it's also like that once you get to 1 million, you realize that it's not all that. Like once you get to $1 million a year, let's say.
But I agree, but you have to be willing to sacrifice it, right?
I am
If
better
I
off.
earn 5K, but my cost is 500 USD and you earn 10K, but your expense is 4K in theory, in terms of percentage. Yeah, of course. In terms
But
of
if I get more
percentage.
volume, you know, if I get more volume at 4K, I earn 10K, but I get volume, I have a lower percentage, but more traffic. So, like, and this is how people think.
like in business, I lower my cost. I tried to, like, my I'm fast forward, like, this is really fast forward to business, but like when we started Uninet, our costs were very high. Our prices were like mid range because we didn't know yet, so we were just entering the market. And at some point, my sales guy was telling me, "Hey, man, we're too expensive. We're too expensive. We're too expensive." And you're like, "How? Because your costs are so high. Like, impossible." But you just keep working. Sometimes you work at loss, and you keep working, and you keep working, and you keep working, and you get better, and you practice. You ask yourself questions. You go at the store where you buy your things. You ask questions. You get curious, and then it starts to cost you less because you understand it's you understand where you're like you understand your craft better. This is true to anything in life. I feel you need to practice more. It will cost you less, and people just don't get past that. They don't get past that first step to try in business, to try to sell something, to, like, even if it's like a small project, like,
You have to try, but you have to stick to it too. I'm sure a lot of people try, but they get discouraged really quickly and they give up because nothing worthwhile happens immediately. Nothing in
no,
life. And
no,
then-
you
and
need to
and
get
if it
better.
and if it is good in the short term, I say this
Hmm.
a lot. I should get it tattooed to my body.
Hmm.
If it's like fun, or if it's, in the short term, if it's good, it's probably not good in the long term, right? Not probably, like mostly it is like that. I'm probably gonna tattoo that to my body. I feel like I say that all the time. What did Amit say over here? Sacrifice suggests a mindset of negativity, though. It suggests you are giving up something which you are unhappy about long term. I don't. Can you rephrase that? Can you sing it in a song, please? No, I'm joking. But yeah.
So what would be the sacrifice, um to, like, me and George are sacrificing our evening, our time with our families. And right now, right now I'm trying to do some both. Have some time with my family and have my podcast, have my, second family out there, trying to, get a little bit of our discussion, because I feel like our discussions could help someone else than just us, because it has helped us, building what we built. So it could definitely, like, help more people. So what am I ready to sacrifice to do that? I'm ready to sacrifice, like, 1 hour a day. Me and George, we were ready to sacrifice an hour a day. I'm gonna have to accept a super low pay. Let's just see here this comment. I'm gonna have to accept a super low pay contract just to have some stable income. For others, it might look like a sacrifice. To me, I see it as possible chance to get a better position, pay, and choice. Okay, let me bounce it back to you, Amit, with what you've said. How about sacrificing a whole week of your life and, like, 5 grand? I think you did that, and learn how to
To
get
have some
super
stable
high pay.
income.
Like, yeah, get some, instead, maybe give up the stable income and get super high pay contract, or, like, maybe how to, like, to make it
Okay, but
more.
bro, why can't you take the stable income like that? Your basic needs are met. Because if you're stressed about having an income, it's harder to have that creativity to create a business on the side or create a side hustle. So why not take that low income, so to be able to live? All your basic needs are met, and then you can start your business on the side. But when I come to sacrifice, I mean sacrificing time.
No, I
Like,
was,
you're
yes,
finishing if
exactly.
you're finishing your day at 5 o'clock at night, at 5 p.m., you gotta work until 10. You gotta take that other 5 hours and
the
work on your side
sacrifice
business.
the, the sacrifice, I meant, is the time with them. It's not the
For,
podcast.
for me personally, like, if my basic needs are not being met, I'm gonna be too stressed to have a side job. I'm gonna be too stressed because my basic needs are not met. Like, why can't you grab that low income and just put an extra 5 hours a day. I know it's easier said than done, but you got to do it. We talk about sacrifice. That's what sacrificing is. Unless you have a bunch of cash sitting around and you could live off your cash for.
Even then,
But even then, I don't
bro.
like that. I don't like having. Like, let's say I have 100,000 sitting in the bank. Okay, I have enough money to sustain myself for, I don't know, a couple of years while I'm building a side business. That's risky as hell because you're burning your reserve to try to build something. You know what I mean? You're building you have a crazy like cash piled up, and you're gonna stop working your 9 to 5 to try to build something on the side. And what if what you're building doesn't work out and you just burnt all that cash? You guys see it like that, or am I the only one who sees it like that?
No, but you're making me think of Berkshire Hathaway, the investment company, how Warren Buffett is keeping cash aside.
I don't do sacrifice. I do real life chess moves. Okay, we have a grandmaster over here.
Like
explain the chess moves I made.
Warren Buffett's.
Why don't you choose to see the podcast as hold on, let me see what he sees. Why do you choose to see the podcast as a sacrifice? Isn't it an investment? But isn't an investment a sacrifice? Isn't it the same thing, Amit? Isn't an investment a sacrifice? Let's say I invest in a stock or a crypto. I'm putting up that money. Isn't that money that I'm putting in a sacrifice? I'm sacrificing these funds for a potential higher return.
No, sacrificing means losing.
Sacrifice completely. Means I'm giving it up. Okay,
yeah, but you're not. You're not. Now you're buying. It's not sacrificing.
So risk and sacrifice is not the same thing. Then, it is.
Bro, when I do this podcast, I sacrifice the time I spend with my family to spend this time with the people on the podcast. This is a sacrifice.
Investment is calculated decision. I like this conversation. An investment versus a sacrifice. Sacrifice is giving up.
It's giving up. You're not seeing it again. Like it's done.
Sacrifice versus investment. Investment is a calculated decision that suggests a return. So Felix sacrificing time for the pod. If Felix is sacrificing time right now to do the podcast, he's giving up family time in order to be on the podcast. You could look at it that way. It's not like theoretically it is correct to say that. But you can also look at it as an investment. I think Amit is right here. It could also be an investment. I'm investing this time.
I am, but
I need to. Bro, you want to come? Amit, you want to come right now? Are you set up? I can make you join if you want to come. We'd love to have you again.
I feel like investment is buying something. I'm not buying anything. I'm sacrificing something in exchange. I understand what you mean by investment, but I invest this time in here, but that doesn't change the sacrifice part. The sacrifice stays there. I sacrifice that time to be here with you guys. The investment would be in my head that I invested in a setup, I invested in a camera, I invested in, like, these are investments. I spent money. I didn't spend money to.
It's not really Freestyle Friday, but we got a special guest joining us from YouTube. Let's go, Amit. All right,
let's go.
I love that spontaneous.
Put up makeup. Okay, you need to talk to our makeup artist.
I need Amit to come on and talk about sacrifice versus investing. Because he might have just kind of opened my eyes, because I kind of viewed it in certain senses the same way. I kind of viewed sacrifice and investment the same way. Because sacrifice, but if you really think about it deeply, sacrificing, you're giving it up. Amit is right. It's meaningless. I'm sacrificing my life. But when you watch like movies like, I want to say Thor, but when you watch movies like I'm sacrificing my life, it's never for nothing. They're always sacrificing their life for something, for somebody else. It's never for nothing. A sacrifice is never for nothing. It's not meaningless.
It depends. Why
does it depend? Why does it? Why
Because
does it
some
have to
people are
always depend?
sacrificing their life to something and it's meaningless. Some people are dying at work.
Those people are not when you're going to work. You're not. Yeah, you're sacrificing. Of course, you're
You
sacrificing. You're
sacrificed
sacrificing.
your life for nothing. You
Yeah.
died at work. You know, thing crashed and boom, die, boom, finish. Like
Boom, finished. Huh?
no, but bro, like it happened to a person in my family that something went down on a excavator and he got crushed. The sister, my grandmother's sister, um, her husband, it happened to him, you know, and she got a nice check. She was, you know, she got a nice check for the rest of her life because of that. But that check in exchange of a life, he sacrificed his life, you know.
Yeah,
like,
but nobody signed up for that sacrifice. It just happened.
But it is it's still a sacrifice.
Yeah, but they didn't sign up for that. They were just trying to feed their family. They were just trying to go
Sometimes
to work.
you don't
They
sign
didn't
up.
plan on going to work to die.
Yeah,
dude, like we can any one of us can die at any time.
But it's a good
Okay,
subject
I
because
can leave my house.
like,
I can.
we all
you know,
go to work.
Knock on wood.
We all
But
go to work. We
The
all
person
go to
you
work.
can't say the person sacrificed
You
their
could-
life for
You
the
could
work.
Well,
Like-
they say that in the newspaper when you lose your life on the road. People would say that he sacrificed his life. Like, why would you go to work every day?
You don't
If you're
go
a
to-
trucker.
Can you look at going to work a 9 to 5 as an investment? I could look at it in a certain sense. If I'm going to work to gain knowledge,
Depends.
it depends.
If you're a
I
trucker,
could go to work.
you're a truck driver.
Why? What are you learning?
I'm
As a
I'm
truck
just
driver.
asking if you're a truck driver right now, listening to us, and you're spending your life on the road. What are you learning? But you're super important. If there's no truck driver right now, there's no economy. So this job is
we
super
can say
important,
they are
but
sacrificing.
they are sacrificing.
Farmers,
100%.
farmers,
Yes.
truck drivers
Yes,
are sacrificing.
yes.
They're sacrificing. Think about it. They're on the road. Their posture, their back,
100%.
poor sleep,
What's the investment?
eating
Tell
at a
me.
vending
Tell
machines.
me what's
That's
the investment.
sacrifice.
Tell
That's
me
why
what's the investment.
That's why they get paid well, because that's a really tough.
But they
that's
would tell
tough,
you
man.
they're not paying well enough. That's what they would tell you. So they would tell you maybe my truck driving
I would be
license
behind
was
them
not
if
well.
they go on. If they go on strike for a higher pay, man, I would.
They
be
would
behind
probably
them.
tell you their truck driving license was not a good idea. It was not a good investment. Some of them will tell you yes, but most will tell you the best investment would be to start my own company, my own logistics company. Because I see these guys driving Mercedes-Benz, right? Not a truck every day. That would be an investment. I feel
Guys,
like
we're gonna put a music. We're gonna have Mr. Emmett come in, and we're gonna have some music for him. You ready? You ready? Look, he's laughing. He's laughing. Look. You ready?
All right. Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Amazing.
What is up, brother?
You need to stop it.
I thought it was just a one-shot deal. I guess it keeps going in a loop. What's up, brother?
How you
I'm
guys
so
doing?
happy you joined us, man.
Yeah, I mean
It was
it's
so
quite
random and so such a pleasant.
well,
surprise.
it's engaging and motivating to listen to you guys. So my brain goes, okay, I need to participate. This is interesting.
Anytime you
know.
want. Anytime you want, man, you could come join us, bro. You're always welcome in the Strategy Vault podcast. Always
That's
happy to have you.
amazing. Oh, man, it's
How's your day,
amazing.
bro?
It's good. It's late here, of course. But yeah, I was just chilling, listening to your podcast because I wasn't really doing anything productive per se. So I thought, let's be productive and engage with your content because it boosts your algorithm, right? The more we comment, people see stuff. So I'm like, spam.
Thank you so much. It's true.
Bro, it's true. It's true. You're in Portugal right now. It's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1.
It's midnight. In there.
Midnight.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's true. So I changed my opinion on sacrifice investment while listening to you guys talk while I was connecting the camera because there's partially I agree that sacrifice, the only thing we sacrifice, if you really think about it in a quantifiable context, is time.
Time. Time, right?
That's it.
Yes, it's right. Yeah.
Because it is true that when you're doing your podcast, you're sacrificing your time, but that's your personal value. Because you might value time with your family more, right? So if I was doing the podcast, say I was doing podcast with you guys every day, I might not say the word sacrifice because I would value the podcast more than maybe sitting on the Netflix or
Mm.
watching cartoon, right? So my priorities are different than yours because you obviously have other commitment. Giordano might be the same as well. Like I don't know if he's not doing anything engaging in the hour he's spending on the podcast, then it's an investment, right? Because you're investing time and resources into something that you hope will be something good, right?
100%.
So, and it's the same with the book, with the 10x mentorship and 10x the other book as well.
Next
This,
rule.
yeah, and they talk a lot about this that the middle class, they are just followers, most of them, and the middle class used to be higher class, and higher class become middle class, and then lower class is kind of lower class, and then there is the poor class, I believe, I think it's called, or something like that. He talks
But,
about.
but can't you look at it like, because you say when it comes to sacrificing, it's only time in a quantifiable sense. But can't you say you're also investing time? If you're using that time to build something bigger, or if you're using that time for a greater outcome in the near future,
I would
can't you say
say
you're also I'm investing time?
so. In terms of let's talk about definition then also, because we have to respect the definition of words, right? So in terms of sacrifice, it normally suggests like loss. It normally suggests you're going through difficult times, and then you're sacrificing something. There's hardship, but you're doing it because there might be something better later. Investment, in from a definition point of view, I would say is normally about you investing money, resources,
Mhm.
and maybe a little bit time. But you can always get money back. You can always get smarter. But
Right.
time is for me.
It's
uh,
it's
For me,
lost. It's back. We're talking about time. It's already gone.
Okay,
it's
but
the
let's
most
say
valuable resource we have, right? So, but I mean, in his example, Felix talk about sacrifice. It is true he is sacrificing time at the moment. Uh, uh, that he might have spent with his family. But if he wasn't spending time with his family, then in theory, he's not sacrificing time.
I would not be investing. So if I was like let's put it that way. If I would be with my family right now, I would actually not be investing right now because I'm investing by being on this podcast. I invested in this mic, I invested in this ring light, I invested. It's not a lot of money, but I'm still right here doing this. And this will stay, and this is the investment that I'm getting from it, the visibility it brings to my business, to my other business, to my friends' business. This is all future specs. It's all things that's not now. It's investment. The sacrifice is gone. Like as I'm talking, like I'm already sacrificing this time. As this podcast will finish, the sacrifice will be done and it's over. But like to be able to sacrifice things, I feel like people have a hard time sacrificing time, or because you don't sacrifice money. Like you said, you spend money, you invest money, you don't sacrifice it.
Well, I would say sacrifice. Normally, when you sacrifice or invest, you're doing it with some knowledge, right? You're aware of the fact that you're doing it, because you could also waste time,
Mhm.
right? Waste time because you don't really know how you spend your time. If I ask most people, how do you spend your time during your day? Most people cannot say, okay, I spend this much
Say
time
that,
on
yeah.
my phone, on TikTok, and spend this much time on Netflix. They don't know. That's waste of time. You're not sacrificing time. You're losing time. You're not even
100%.
investing, right? This is the difference between what you two are doing versus a lot of other people, which is how you end up in middle class and lower class, because you're not really being aware of your time, how you're utilizing your
Mm.
time, right? Giordano wakes
Wow.
up, he goes to the gym probably. I don't know if you're still going to the gym where he is now, but he does it every day, right?
Mhm.
He's not sacrificing time. He's not sacrificing anything because he knows there's a value in it. There's something he gets in
but that
return. He
that that
knows
could
it.
also be
Right.
that's an investment though. That's an investment into better health.
Right.
Not
it's an
sacrificing
investment.
anything.
Exactly.
Well, I I mean, I understand what, like, I feel like I understand more where you guys are, like, but I feel it all depends on what you have in the, like, in the background. So at some point, I feel like you're being forced to sacrifice something. You're gonna have to like, sometimes when you're making big choices, big goals, it requires you to sacrifice something, like, and most of the time it will be time of quality with people of quality. Most of the time it happens to be that.
Well, a sacrifice normally implies that you are giving up something for something, a cause. Normally, it's a cause, right? But you could say, in my case, because I normally choose to be more or less single often on purpose. It's a conscious choice, because I don't want to sacrifice my freedom
Mm.
for what I get in return of being in a relationship or married or kids, right? I'm not
So
wait for
like I'm reading something online. Sorry guys, because I always gotta go to the I always gotta go to Google to get to get some answers sometimes. This is interesting. It's not sacrifice, it's an investment. Have you ever heard a parent talk about the sacrifices they make for their children? Maybe you've made a similar comment. A long time ago, I started taking a different view about what we choose to forego for our kids and others. It's not
Mm.
sacrifice, it's an investment. What do you think, Amit? Do we sacrifice for our children or are we investing for our children? We're investing in a better future for them.
well,
Or
so,
are we
so
sacrificing our time? Because us as parents, we're sacrificing our time for our
yes.
children.
But again, this is now we're entering mindset coaching, right? If you have a limited belief, I believe you will use the word sacrifice, right?
Hmm.
If you check any person who has almost everything, they would never use the word sacrifice in the context of family. They know exactly how to balance this time. They exactly how to run a business. They go to the gym. Maybe they go off the track now and then because it happens. But I don't think I've ever heard Grant Cardone, which you guys are focusing a lot on, use the word sacrifice. He sacrificed something for someone. Why? Because he is enjoying life. He's still doing everything he wants to do. Conor McGregor, who was a very successful MMA fighter, people hated him in many contexts. Uh, what did he sacrifice? He sacrificed maybe part of his muscles and health in the beginning to amass wealth and have his whiskey company. And now he owns a 20 million yacht, which costs more just to keep running than the actual yacht. It's having the right mindset. So I think if you use the word sacrifice, I think you don't know how to balance time. I think you don't understand what you have. You don't appreciate what you have. And I think it's a limited belief, because someone who doesn't have a limited belief doesn't use the word sacrifice. It's always
Uses the word investment.
should always be an
It-
investment, and it should always be a positive outlook in life. Like, I don't know. I don't know if Felix knows that, but look, I've lost a lot of money. I don't have work at the moment. I'm being kicked out of my apartment. Not once does my brain enters in a negative thought process, right? It's all an opportunity. It's not a problem. It's an opportunity because it changes my mindset. It challenges me. It gives me more time and resources to maybe question, okay, maybe I want to change career. Maybe I want to go more into AI. Maybe I should do more mindset coaching, whatever knowledge I have, right? That is what is needed to at least stay on middle class, but also start working your way over middle class, right? And I don't think sacrifice is something we three should use in our vocabulary when we talk about things. I think we need to use, it's a balance and an investment that we're doing. Yeah. So the podcast, when you guys speak about podcast, I would recommend speaking of it as, it's just
As
something
an
you're doing.
investment.
Yeah, it's part of your strategy. Because if you do sacrifice, like it's just weird. Are you going to stop doing podcasts? Is that what you're suggesting to the audience? Is that what you're saying? That once you reach a point, you're going to stop it? You have to think of it long term. What's the purpose
Well, it's
between it?
interesting. It's interesting that you mentioned the podcast. Yesterday, felt like I was a little stressed. Not stressed in the sense that I was stressed. It was like a good stress. It was like, okay, Fel, we've been doing the podcast now for 3-4 months now, consistently every day. How do we take it? Like I was stressed about how do we go to the next level now? What's the next step to get to the next level? And he kind of like, that's what I love about Fel. That's why he's my partner, bro, because then he always puts me in check, you know? It's like, bro, like, chill. It's like, and then it made me remember, like, we came into this with no expectation. We came into this like, we're not doing it for the money, we're doing it for the fun of it, because we like doing it, we're having fun. And then I had instant relief in my head. I'm like, you know what? You're right. We don't have to stress over this. And so I kind of put it back into my head where, like, in the sense that I'm doing this for fun. I'm not doing this like for an outcome. We're doing this for fun. You know, if something comes from it, great. So having that mindset allowed me and allows me to keep doing this every single day.
Yeah.
Without like,
But this is why I like coming to your podcast. I can challenge you, whatever you guys say a lot.
I love that.
But then you're saying, because when you say it this way, from my coaching experience, I hear I don't know how to handle stress. That's what I'm hearing you say. Because to cope with your stress, you need to put this podcast as a fun thing rather than a strategic choice, right? And I give you an example. I know someone who's done like communities and different things. He's pretty influential, more than me. He has like a lot of people who look up at him, and he's doing like podcast and streaming and all kinds of things for free, for fun, for 5 years
okay.
with no strategy in mind. With no, if I had 5 years to build what he would, I would have capitalized already the second year at the very least. So that's probably why people like him. But then if you do that, you're always attracting people with that mindset, right? If you open a bar and you have a happy hour, what kind of people are you going to attract? People who want cheap beer, people who behave certain way, right? Because that's what you're attracting. So even though if you're doing
But don't
something
some
for fun,
things some things just organically will materialize. Like the way I see it is not to be stressed. Like, why would I put the stress on me right now when this is not like the podcast is like we do it every day consistently. We have fun, and why can't stuff just organically work out if we just work at them consistently?
but that's like the now we're not talking about right and wrong, by the way. Just to be clear, we're exploring the thought process here only, without getting to like what's wrong, what's right. So here's the deal, though. What is waking up and being impulsive? What does it mean when you do impulsive stuff throughout the day? It means you're acting on the moment, right? Which can be a very strong suit for a lot of people that means they're very adaptive, right? They can act accordingly in the moment. Like, I'm not necessarily always impulsive, so I don't always know what to do in the moment. But I have a friend who's like super good. Like, he knows exactly what to do when plans doesn't go as what it should be, right? But then you have your stuff. You're doing it for fun, great. But why are you waiting for something to organically happen? How do you know it's going to happen organically? What's the plan? There has to be some thought process that almost for certainty that other people have done that will lead to that thing organically happening, such as getting a sponsorship, such as getting an opportunity, right? Such as getting advertising spot. If you don't have a strategy, yeah, it will probably happen at this rate because you guys are doing it every fucking day. But
and you know what's crazy? Yesterday, okay, Felix is on LinkedIn a lot, and he's like messaging, just reaching out to people, messaging people. He reached out to another podcast, and he said, "Hey, me and my friend Giordano, we started our own podcast called the Strategy Vault.
I reach out to people every day for that,
and we would like to come on your podcast." The guy gave us an appointment yesterday. We went on the guy's podcast. We went to his studio and we shot on their podcast.
It's going to be aired on January.
Yes, so exactly. So it doesn't happen organically in this case because Felix is doing it with the thought behind, with the strategy behind.
So there's that. We're posting every single day. Every single day we're posting a short reel. Every single day we're going live. So ipso facto, you just made me realize, Amit, that we are doing stuff to advance. I just didn't think about it. You just like made me realize that we are doing stuff. to
Yeah,
advance
but
to the next
you
level.
have to, because it has to be like, if I were to do a new podcast, probably I would do it too organized and too structured with a very deep strategy, because I've done it a few times before, right? So I know you need to be consistent because of algorithm. I know you need to get people to comment, all those stuff. But the fact that you're doing it every day, it means you have a strategy. You're committed, right?
Mhm.
So, are you sacrificing time, whatever mindset you have for that? But I think you definitely want to have
It's
the
not really my
strategy.
mindset, Ahmed. Just so you understand, it would be my wife's mindset. She would be, you're sacrificing our time. The help that I could give her. You understand? Like it's not only like
Yeah, for
on.
sure. I totally get that. But
You
that's what I was
understand?
saying.
It's
Yeah,
also about helping someone else
that's
sometimes.
what.
So it's sacrificing that time. It's not. I understand about the point you made about investing that time on the podcast, but someone else from my entourage would say otherwise. They would say, "Nah, man, he sacrificed." We're at 60 something episodes, and it's 60-ish episodes of not me holding this thing in my hand the whole time, but it's
But
60 something episode of having my partner in the background holding babies,
yeah,
holding these kids. We started before Raphael came,
but here's the thing, though. I will almost bet you $100 that your wife doesn't think that. To her, it's an investment. She knows if this goes well, what
Yeah.
she gets out of it. You're the one who thinks it's
It's
a
true.
sacrifice. She does not think that. I can almost guarantee you. This is why you're doing it, because she is supporting you. To her, it's
Everybody's
not
doing their role.
Yeah,
okay.
Like
So
you're
you
so
said,
right.
it's
she
right.
she would never say,
Actually, you're
"Oh,
right.
I'm sacrificing this for feeling." No, she's support. She would probably use the word
Support.
support
Yes.
and investment, because
You're right.
she.
You're right,
Okay.
bro. This is
He's
okay.
fucking right. This guy.
Okay.
He's fucking right, bro. He's come every day,
I
man.
like that, bro. I like where it's going. This is more positive. Like it's a more positive wording. It's. I like how you put it. It's actually very good.
You have to. If you want to reach higher levels, you got to do it, man. Now, I've lost a lot of money. I used to earn quite a bit, like we're talking 5, 6 figures, and I now earn almost nothing. Does it bother me? No, it doesn't really bother me, because my life hasn't changed.
Mm.
If anything, in Portugal, one of the reasons I'm still trying to stay in Portugal is because Giordano, he was here in the beginning. At the moment, he's away. But I have a good group of people, and they're always trying to hustling. Some of them, they're like, "Oh, should open a bar? Maybe we can do this. Maybe you should just fucking invest in the apartment. Stop being, afraid of this new adventure. Just do it and see what happens. All these things." So you have to have that mindset. And I think at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you're smart. To be honest, like, I am not smart. I don't even know numbers for. I can barely do multiplication. Right? It's not about being smart. There's two things I value in people. If I were to hire someone, I don't really need you to be smart. I just need you to have belief in yourself, consistency, and the right attitude and mindset. That's all you need to get anywhere. That's all someone needs until you're dead. And
Mhm.
even then, you probably go to another, I don't know, level of playing.
And these are skills you can't teach, right? Oh, sorry, Raphael. Those are skills you can't teach to someone. If they have it, they have it. Like you need
See
to
that
find.
See, this again, you have limited belief again, right? Because you believe that people cannot be taught these things. That's also a
No,
limited
but
belief as a leader.
like no, but you like as a business owner, not necessarily as a leader, but as a business owner, you can't like listen. What I mean here is you won't have the time to get people to that point. And I've tried. This is like I've had a
I
team of
remember.
like I've had a team of like 15 people to manage every night, and I've had very technical, yeah, like on paper skill set was there. They had experience. But human scales were really not there, and you can't like I've tried. You can't teach that to like someone who's especially to someone who's older than like who would be older than me. I can't teach them manners with their colleagues, coworkers. I can try it and like have a culture, but if they don't have these human skills of empathy and knowing like how to connect with people, I can't teach them that.
So I disagree, because I didn't have any of those skills originally. I had to either be explained by friends over a period of time that you're saying this thing, we know you, but people are perceiving you this way. Then I had to make a conscious choice of think, okay, what can I do to do the improvement? The only way people improve, honestly, is external feedback. Because
Yeah,
most
but your
people,
boss didn't teach you that. That's what I meant.
well, I teach people that when I'm responsible for them at work. You have to create the environment and the opportunity to teach that and to learn that.
Mhm.
But most
Can
companies
you
don't
teach
bother.
empathy? If
Of
you
course,
can you teach how to give a fuck? Like,
yeah,
can you how do you
Bro,
teach that?
real
Like,
question. Like, I'm
do
actually
you?
curious because
I think the only way is by making them feel the love,
Mhm.
and they'll be able to maybe understand. They know how it feels. Oh, now I want to do it onto others
okay. It's an
what they
instruction.
have done
It's a
unto me.
very interesting question
Mhm.
coming from you, Jordana, because you're a salesman. How do you get
We're
someone
all
to give a?
men.
Okay,
Everybody here, including yourself.
So I'm gonna get you to answer the question yourself.
Sure.
How do you get someone to care about the product that you're selling? To give a fuck?
Mm.
I have it starts with me. It starts with me giving a fuck. It starts with me
Mm.
knowing that this person is gonna benefit from it.
Right. So if Felix's mindset is it's not possible, whose fault do you think it is?
If Felix mindset is not possible,
No, Felix says it's not possible to teach X, Y, Z. Who do you think is really the source of the fact that no one learns these things? It's the person who's in a leadership position.
yeah,
You,
it is their responsibility.
if
And
the
they
leader doesn't believe it,
and even if it isn't, they should still take responsibility. When you talk about responsibility, I view that as everybody should take responsibility. Everybody should in every situation look, okay, even though it's not my fault, even though I didn't cause it.
so I'm still
What?
learning, like as you two
Yeah.
are doing too. Okay, so I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything, but I'm saying if I'm in a leadership position, it is my fault.
Oh, of course.
Right.
Like, that's 100%. It's your responsibility. Like,
I managed to
course.
train people
but
who
if
do
I
not
have 12 people,
communicate.
listen, I mean, if I have 12 people amongst a group and one person is a bad apple who's killing the vibe for everyone else, I will try to teach that person strike one, strike two, strike three, and
Or
strike
let them
three.
But
go.
You're
But if you
out,
didn't,
bro. Like,
and if they're still around, it's your responsibility because you didn't
yeah,
let
it's
them
but
if
go.
they're still around, kill like having
So it's
people
still,
cry and like really like
yeah.
see,
I really want to
it's
teach that person,
interesting.
but I
Yes.
can't, bro. I can't. It's not my
S-
job.
So I'm gonna well, that's what I don't like with companies, and this is why I like to be in charge because I think it is our responsibility. Because I don't think in the context of what I'm getting paid to do. When I teach and mentor, I think in the context of I'm a human with life experience. Is it possible for me to change this person's life? Now, this is from teaching experience. When I teach, I'm not teaching with the intent of changing this person's life at that very moment or during my time span that I have with the person. I'm trying to put seeds and catalyst so they might change later and realize it, right? When I was like young, my first sales job was like three years. I hated it. Worst possible job I had. Calling people, asking for donation for Red Cross, terrible, right? But it was only later that I realized that I learned how to speak and find out motivation from that job. But I didn't know that at the time. I learned that afterwards, reflecting over like, why do I know these things now? And then I realized where the knowledge come from and where the information come from. So that became a valuable time that I originally hated my guts from, right? So think of these things when you're doing things long term rather than thinking just in a moment. Do what you can even for that brief time so that person can improve and learn later on because that person might remember it later on when they start thinking, when they grow, when they mature, because that's like relationship, right? So I think it depends on your mindset. What do you get paid for? Is it important? And I totally get you. Destroying the vibe, you have to let go, but I don't think you
But
should do it
there's
immediately.
oh, sorry, yeah, he was not he was not ready for me talking. Like, I've had people in my team um, that were hard to deal with. Um, we've had fights because you don't want a bunch of yes men's around, right? You want to have people who are, colliding with your ideas. You want people who are not the same as you and not thinking like you because you want to have real feedback inside of your team about your ideas and about what you're trying to push to the world before it goes to market. Um,
But that's your job.
I've had people in my team that were hard to deal with. They were hard headed. They were asking more questions, having more comments to say about things. They wanted to be part of the conversation. It's hard to work with people like that, but they were not disruptive. They were actually constructing, trying to build. So they were, I call it like happy colliding, happy collisions. So we're fighting, we're picking on stuff, but we're never intoxicating each other's. That for me, yes, I could definitely work with these people and try to like deal with the hard part and then teach them skills on the long run. And actually I'm ready to lose a little money because it takes longer, because this person is hard-headed and wants it to make it like their way this time. I know that they will learn later on it's not the right way, and they'll come back. This is manageable. But from my perspective, when you have like, because I also hire seniors. So when you got a senior here who's like, he's 70 years old, he's 68, 66 years old, and he has it his way and doesn't want to change and doesn't want to listen, well, listen, bro, like I
You
understand
can't
where you
teach an
come
old
from,
dog new tricks.
bro. Like, it's you might lose your teeth or two, like a tooth, you might
I
lose a
think
leg.
I think that's just. I think there's always an opportunity to do something in that situation. It just means that we don't have the experience and the knowledge to figure it out just yet,
Maybe that's true. Okay, so on
right?
that, yeah, on that
Like,
angle,
like
maybe I'm not that person at that time to deal with that other person who's having issues with X, Y, Z. Maybe it
for
might be
example,
that.
I give you an example. In one of the work I was in charge of a team, there was one person that everyone was trying to fire, and I said, no, that person is just a slow learner that needs a team that's moving him around. And I tried moving, he got attention, he got mentorship. I tried to give him time, but obviously I didn't have all
But
the
he was
time
not
either.
intoxicating others. He was just a slow learner. Like,
Nah, Claudia, what's happening?
you know?
And basically what happened, I moved him around to like a different place so he could keep his work, right? And I believe in the future he will be a valuable person. Maybe 2 years, 3 years, he'll probably be very good, right? Because of my own perception and my own experience as well. But there are people who are very disruptive like me. Like, I am not a yes man. There's a lot of people who wouldn't work for me because I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say yes without understanding the long-term strategy. Why are you asking me to do something? I'm definitely not going to say yes if I think you're completely wrong either. So then you need to explain to me, you need to understand how I function to persuade me to get to say yes. So that's a leadership responsibility, to understand what is the motivation behind it. Is it fear? Is it confusion? Did I explain everything? This is where leaders lack the ability to lead. They don't have the patience anymore. They don't know how to do it because they're always rushing. Because money, 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 time, time, time. We got to
Money,
make quick
money,
decisions.
money.
You know,
I have a question for you, Amit. I have a question for you. Would you rather be a leader that is feared or loved, or both?
I've tried both.
You would,
I
or you did?
I have tried both. Yes.
Okay.
I ended up with the third choice, which is respected.
So
I don't want to
loved,
be. No,
essentially.
no. Love is not the same as respect. Love is an emotional choice. Respect is a logical choice. It's based on actions and ability to do certain things. Men tend to respect other men,
But if
and
you'd rather be respected over love, then whenever it's no longer convenient for the person to respect you, they won't respect you. But if somebody,
yeah, and that means I failed. Love is not mutual. First of all, they can love me, but they might love me because I gave them a raise. That's the context. Oh, I love this guy because he treats me so well. They might love me because I give them day off. But is that the right reason to be loved? Probably not. That's beneficial to them, right?
So
no,
how about
you had their back. They have your back,
But that's
and
respect.
I think that's a good relationship.
A good relationship is respect. You do what's needed, or and you do more. I respect you for it, and therefore I reward you with something that you value. That's why you need motivation. Not everyone wants more money. Someone it might be more like Felix in the sense that they want to spend time with the family, so you give them more time off, not more money. Someone want more money because they're ambitious. They want to buy a flat, so you give them more money. That's our job to understand that. If we don't understand that each person has a different, if you don't know your team's motivation within 6 months' time, you're not a good leader. If you
I
don't
think
figure
I,
it
I
out,
think this I think it's the same thing in that context. Being when I say being loved or respected, being loved or feared. I think in that context it goes to like you
what is
want to be a
feared?
leader who is loved because being look I think in the short term being feared is better because like you know they're panicking, they'll do whatever you ask them to do, but in the
Like
long term, that's sorry about that noise, the smoke detector went
it's
off.
bomb. Get down. Get the chopper.
Get to the chopper. We should
Nah,
put that
but
in the soundboard.
I get
But
you.
yeah, in the short term, I think being feared gets you what you need now. But in the long term, people will stick around longer. People will genuinely want to help you succeed in your goal.
It depends on what the thing with leadership. There's many different type of leadership, which is beyond what you say fear, respect, should is, and there's many ways of doing leadership or is being responsible for people. There are different types of different things, right? If a country goes to war, I don't want someone who's loving. I want someone who knows military strategy and warfare and kick ass. I'm not gonna vote for someone who is like, here, take my land and just don't touch me. That's not gonna work, right? So different people are suited for different faces. Startup leaders are very good at startup stuff, and often you'll see CEO step down because they need someone who understands how to scale. That's a different leader. And someone who needs to innovate, that's a different
Yeah,
leader.
but those people that you're talking about, those military people, those are people who are capable of like there's people who are capable of danger, capable of being violent, but also capable of loving and being loved.
But and that's the type of person you should aim for. You should be
Right.
you should be in a situation where people know you can be dangerous and they know you can be loving. Otherwise, it's not
Otherwise,
really
it's useless.
true.
It's not valuable. Otherwise, somebody who is not capable of violence, that is not violent, there's no value in that. But somebody who's capable of violence, but is not being violent.
But you have to
There's
remember.
there's value in that. You know what I mean?
But again, you have to define your own definition. What is respect to you? Because the thing with today's society, everyone has their own crazy definition of every word. This is what
Yeah.
respect means to me, and this is what love means to me. What does it mean? Yeah, right? It's different. So you need to ask those questions to people you're in charge of, and figure out what do you mean with
I
it?
think we
What
can
is it?
universally come to some kind of conclusion about respect. I think we can all come to kind of the same conclusion. You know, we could have our own definition, but
It depends. Like I grew up a lot, and my dad would often say, "Oh, I don't respect him," but I think he misunderstood the word respect with obedience. Because if you think respect is obedience, that's not respect. If you think obedience is fear, that's not the same thing either, right? He wanted someone who would listen at any given situation, and that made me more rebellious anyway. And I was, no, I'm not gonna listen. I'm gonna do whatever I want. If you're gonna force me, I'm gonna keep doing what I want. What you can do about it, right? So you have to understand people from different culture, religion, all of these things has some impact when you're in charge of people, but also you as a leader, right? I was really, really bossy in the beginning because I read a lot of books, I knew a lot of stuff, and I wouldn't normally make good educated guesses compared to other people who were older and should be knowing more. That made me cocky and arrogant, right? But they also made me very bossy, right? And I would work 12 hours, 14 hours, and I would expect people to do the same. And if people didn't do it, I would think they were lazy and useless. So I had to change my mindset and understand there's a difference between being an owner, an ambitious person, and someone who just wants the 5 to 8 job, which is where the word sacrifice comes back in, which we were talking about earlier. If you're in charge of this podcast or your company, you shouldn't expect other people to do the same sacrifice. And this is why CEOs get paid more because they are the one to blame. Anything goes wrong, that's their problem, right?
mhm.
If a CEO, I think Simon said it or someone, and I agree with him. Your job is to hire the smartest people, and when the smartest people don't know how to solve it, your job as a CEO is
Is
to
to find
figure
the
out
people. Yeah.
is your job is to figure out, because the smartest people you hire couldn't figure out, so now you have to figure it out. And if it doesn't work, if you make the wrong decision, it's on you, it's not on other people, right? And I just came out of a company where it was opposite. It was the people at the bottom who got the blame rather than upwards, right? So and you have to be a good follower before you can be a leader too, I think. So this is also very important to remember. If you don't know how to be led, you won't know how to lead, because you don't know how it feels to be
Yeah,
led
that's true.
poorly
You gotta
or
know how
well.
it feels. You gotta know, like when you're following a leader, you know what triggered a feel good sense. You know what triggered the sensation of like, oh, I wanna respect this leader. I
Yeah.
wanna do good. Like, that was a warm I felt warm inside when they did that. So I know exactly what you
Don't
mean.
you feel like someone who's calm, where everyone else is like panicking and calling other people's name and like starting like fights? Like, I feel like a good leader is someone who's trying to be the bigger person in the room and trying to not, like, you guys were talking about war a little earlier, and I was like, how could you fix war in itself? Like, what's the job there? Is it to like go really at war and like kill the opponent, or just like protect yourself, I'm just wondering, like, there's different path to leadership, and like how what's the quality that we're looking for in a good leader? Is it this like
It depends. Apple, Steve, whatever his name. If you look at some of the early 90 interviews he has of his employees, they were describing him as like a bit insane. But they would protect the employees. He would protect the employees who were creative, who would leave them alone to do the crazy shit. He would challenge them. He would really, push them. And he made a great company. And a lot of great companies come from crazy people.
But
They're not normal.
don't also the employees also have some kind of responsibility to understand the leader's personality and character. And so when they have like a Steve Jobs on their hand, they're like, "Oh, my leader is crazy, but he's destined for great things." So I'm gonna
Well, I mean,
like,
you
don't
would.
they have some kind of responsibility? Everybody has some kind of responsibility.
Everyone has a choice, right? So if you didn't like it, you wouldn't stay. Simple as that. If you don't like it, you don't stay, right? If you can't handle it, then that's fine. That's your choice. You want someone more sweet and loving and take advantage of, that's what you do. If you want someone who gives you more, time off and flexibility, that's your prerogative. That's your priority, and that's how you pick the companies you want to work for as a middle class citizen, right? As a middle class citizen, that's the best you can do, is to carefully think about which company and which leader you want to join. So when I do interviews, I almost always talk to the CEO. I talk to the owner of the company, and then I make a decision if that person has the right attitude and the mindset for me to work for someone else that works for him, right? So you have to have that thought process, because again, you spend at least 8 hours of your life. You spend more time working for someone else as a middle class person.
Yep.
You better really be picky and not desperate, right? So
That's
I
true.
think,
I couldn't agree more with that.
and most people don't think about it. Most people are not thinking about how they choose. They are trying to survive, and that's also probably why they probably will remain middle class, because they're not aware of their own thought process. Most people aren't aware of their thought process. They don't really know half of the time what they think about. If you ask people, they don't know. And I think that's a big weakness people have. And that's why you should do reflection every day, especially if you're in charge. When you do leadership, you should do like reflective journal. You should think about your day. You should ask good questions.
we
And
were
you should,
talking about that yesterday on the
yeah.
podcast,
Are
actually.
you aware?
Reflecting was the subject of the day yesterday on the GTD podcast. So
Yeah,
that's
I have
funny you're
the
talking about that.
I have the 366 days Stoic reflection book. So he asks you questions every day, and every month is a different topic, and you have to answer in the morning, and then at the end of the day you answer again to see if there's any correlation or differences or changes based on today's incidents and actions. And I think they have a book as well that supports the reflection book as well, but I didn't actually read that. So that's a good way of doing. And he asks you very very deep questions that most people don't even know exist, because
100%.
no one talks about it. People just drink, they fap, they they they,
C'est
they,
vrai.
they, they don't
They
have a
scroll.
time.
They scroll. That's the biggest addiction of our generation is scrolling.
Yeah, and that makes your job easier, more difficult too, especially as a podcast content creator as well. Keeping people's attention.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, that's what we
I'm
spoke about yesterday.
yeah,
Actually,
I'm
that's what
competing
we spoke about
against.
yesterday. I'm like, because
Yeah.
yesterday, and you know what? We say that we're not implementing different things to get to the next level, but we really are. And you know what? Amit, you made me realize when you came in, and like we are doing all kinds of things. If you really think about it, the things that you're doing on LinkedIn, reaching out to people,
Cold emails,
posting,
cold messages, cold Airbnbs,
like
bro. Like
posting shorts every single day. We have not missed one day of posting short form content. I'm just so ambitious, and I'm so like, it's crazy with all those things we're doing. I'm looking at it, it's like, oh, we're not doing enough. It's crazy the mindset that we've grown to have. It's
How
really,
did you
really,
how did you guys split the days now? You have specific topics normally, you said last
yeah.
time.
So Mondays we have Mondays are marketing. So marketing Monday, Tuesday getting Tuesday done. We talk about organization.
this is Monday.
Wednesday, Winners Wednesday. Today we talk about
This is
all of
Tuesday.
everything to do with goal setting and getting to the next level.
Interesting.
This
So,
is
so you have a topic. You guys read the book a little bit, a chapter ahead of time, and then
Yeah.
you use it as an anchor point in your conversations.
Exactly.
And we dissect it. We dissect what they said, how we can put it into practice.
Did you skip
And
Money Monday or something, or did you change it to another
Money
day?
Monday,
Money Monday.
Marketing Monday. I like that. I
Marketing
like
Monday.
Money Monday.
You
might
don't have a
consider
day,
changing it.
you don't have a day just for money talk.
Well, so Thursdays is Tactics Thursdays. So Thursdays it's more sale. Like we needed a day
You're
for
talking about
sales.
investments, or what are you talking about?
Just money. Do you know?
Just
little
money
people
in
know about
general.
money, taxes, finance, just managing your budget. People don't know that shit, bro.
To be honest,
I dare you message any other friend you have right now and ask them. You write the message. The minute you read this, reply exactly how much money you have in the bank account. I swear to you, they don't know that.
to be really honest, we all struggle with these subjects. Like
We talk about money, but we don't talk specifically on one day
Yeah.
just about money,
just about
managing,
money.
budgeting.
It's
We talk about money throughout
drastically-
Monday to Friday, throughout every segment. We're talking a bit about money here and there. We're
We're
not
talking about
diving
making
deep.
more money, but like managing
Yeah.
money is my accountant thing. Like it's it's not my thing. To be honest, like we could have
Like today we spoke
some-
about sacrificing, right? We
Yeah.
spoke a bit about sacrificing. Like we always do talk about managing money in some way, shape, or form. But it would be
I
interesting
will,
to have
I-
a day fully on money.
I will invite myself in some of those days more
Anytime, bro.
regularly.
And
Maybe I will help you guys out a little bit as well.
but you know what? Like today the topic was supposed to be like what was
Middle
the topic
class.
today? Middle class. Yeah. How do you like what is the middle class today? How do you escape it? And we started talking about the middle class, then you came in and we kind of got deviated.
Well, the
but I love
answer
that.
is simple, right? The answer is simple. How do you escape middle class? First, you need to change your mindset, right? And then you have to understand economy, right? How does the system work? What's the difference? How does money work? That's why I asked about the Money Monday thing, because if you don't understand what happens with money and finance, you're not going to understand how to get out of your situation, because you don't understand that money
the money mechanics.
money is a fraud. It's not really
It's
a thing.
fake. It's fairy
you know.
dust.
And if you
It doesn't
and
exist.
there's a good book. I don't know if you guys have read it, but I think you guys probably would want to read it. It will tell you. You probably know some of it already, but for anyone who's listening, if you want to understand more about money, you probably want to read. what's the
Rich
name
Dad
of
Poor Dad.
no, you want to read the history of the. It's a book that explains the invention of the federal bank, and
Oh,
that
I've
is
read that.
that is a private one, and it's not even owned by the government,
I've
and rich
read that.
families own it, and
Mhm.
that they are the one who actually owns it. It's a privately held invention.
The Federal Reserve and all that stuff. I've read that.
And
I know
I made,
everything
buddy.
about
I'm sorry to cut you off. I gotta go.
Me too.
I have to
Me
step
too.
out. But
I have kids to go
I don't
put to
want.
sleep. I don't
This
want to cut it
discussion
off
was
because this
amazing.
was super interesting. Yeah, it
That's
was
it. Like I was
amazing.
gonna say, I wasn't gonna pull you guys out. I was gonna say like I gotta go, but you guys can stay if you
No,
want to stay.
I also need to go, bro. Like my
Nah,
kid
bro.
is needs a
It's
change,
okay. No
a diaper
worries.
change. I need to go.
But I
Like,
love
for
the spontaneous guest that we had today. I love that
That was
you came, bro. It's
amazing.
always nice to
Mhm.
talk to you, Amit. I'm happy
Yeah,
you
no
came,
worries.
and I want to see you. I want to see you here more often.
Yeah, man, it's cool. You know, it's a bit more fun to join someone else's original podcast than
Where can
hosting my
people
own.
find you if they want to search you up or if they want to follow you? Do you want to give people your information?
I guess. Do we want to? Maybe. You can.
Yeah, 100%.
You can post my LinkedIn. They can probably add me on LinkedIn. I think that's a good start for now, right? So you can post it for me here.
The
And,
thing about LinkedIn is that I could only stream on one LinkedIn at a time.
and yeah, no, I would be happy to contribute a bit more because I also wanted to do similar podcasts in the future, and I might as well join your guys a little bit more regularly.
And look, if you, I don't know if you like the shorts that I've been sending you.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't get me cancelled.
I was looking for something controversial. I was looking. I was like, I hope he says something.
What
Because
happened?
That's
Your,
what
your
gets.
short got canceled.
No, I'm saying he's looking for controversial things I'm saying, and he's putting it as a short. So I have to be more careful what I say because I have to deal with the consequences. I live in a sense. My industry is very sensitive to strong opinion that doesn't fit the mold. So you know they're very
Doesn't
sensitive.
matter. There's more value into getting out of the radar. Like, trust me on that.
Yeah,
So,
he had it.
Me too. I have a
me-
sensitive industry, and I don't care.
You remember Maurizio? Me and Maurizio used to always tell Amit like, bro, because he had his pronouns. He had his pronouns in his Instagram. We kept bugging him like, bro, take out your
Mhm.
pronouns. He's like, I can't, man. Like, I probably shouldn't say that either. Sorry, bro. I'll cut it.
well, I mean,
I'm an idiot sometimes.
it's no worries.
Sometimes
I
I say
appreciate
shit that could get.
I appreciate having the conversation and taking part of it. It's always interesting and stimulating. Keep it up, and
Thank you, bro.
see you around.
bro.
From
Yes,
me and
sir.
Raphael.
Let me see if this does something.
Feel comfortable to let me know if there's any other topics or days. I might even buy some of the books again and join in the reading as well. So just tell me what you read.
Rich.
Yeah.
Okay,
And it also
okay.
helps us when you come in with a topic because sometimes we also like because we're here talking over an hour. Sometimes it's like keeping the conversation flowing. You know, it helps when you come in and you comment, and it helps us a lot.
It's definitely more
And
interesting.
it makes it more interesting for reviewers for sure.
100%.
Yeah, no
All right,
worries.
boys. I see you tomorrow on the Tactics Thursday.
Tactics Thursdays. Yes, sir.
go.
If you want to join us tomorrow, I'm
Yeah, join us tomorrow, Amit.
If you tell me what it tactics Thursday involves, I'll
Anything to do with tactics, strategies, like that helps you in life. We talk about sales.
Cold emails,
I wanted
cold
to have-
calls, cold
yeah.
cold whatever.
Like we it's mostly a sales topic we talk about on Thursday, but I
Yeah.
called it Tactics Thursdays just because like we're trying to find the letter that starts with T for Thursday. We can't call it Sales Thursdays. So,
TT. No, that's cool, man. Thank you again, and have a good day, a good morning. I guess it's
yes,
again.
have a
it's
good
later.
have a good evening for you, bro.
All right, thank
Portugal.
you. Keep up the good
Yes,
work.
sir.
Love you
Thank
too.
you, bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Ciao,
Ciao,
man.
ciao.
Appreciate it.
Ciao, ciao.